I'm Anna Page. I'm a journalist, a poet, and an educator, and I am excited to share a little bit of work by M.L. Smoker. She is the current Montana Poet Laureate. She also shares that honor with Melissa Kwasny, and this is from her book, Another Attempt at Rescue, from 2005. Before I share, I just wanted to send you a bit of encouragement. I have had the pleasure of being part of Poetry Out Loud for several years now as a judge, and watching students share poetry from memorization is one of the most inspiring things I've experienced in my poetic time. I'm not great with memorization, so I just think that it is incredibly admirable that you're able to carry somebody else's words within your core and share them back out. So kudos to you. I will be reading from a book because my capacity to memorize isn't as great as yours, so I wish you the very best on that. All right. Two poems I'm going to share. The first one is called The Feed. Several of my cousins lean up against the house, taking long drags from the pack of Marlboros that we share. We have always been this way, addicted and generous. A powwow tape plays from inside the open garage, where two old uncles are thinking to themselves in the safety of its shadows. Our aunties are in the kitchen, preparing the boiled meat and choke cherry soup, and laughing about old jokes they still hang on to because these things are a matter of survival. Outside, we ask about who was driving around with who last night, or so-and-so got beat up, whose girlfriend left him for someone else. But she'll go back to him, we all think, to ourselves. Aunties carry the full pots and pans to the picnic table, and Uncle prays over our food in Assiniboine. We all want to forget that we don't understand this language. We spend lots of time trying to forget in different ways. No one notices that the wild turnips are still simmering in a pot on the stove. That was called The Feed. The second one I'd like to share is titled Venom. We are the kids outside the bingo hall. My brother is inside calling the numbers as they show their faces on the fluorescent ping pong balls. My mother helps to serve Indian tacos to all the old people. My auntie plays with 3 cards and her own fierce luck that makes people wonder. We are all outside in June, charged by mosquitoes who aim for the spots we can't see, behind kneecaps, in the parts of our dark hair, on the edges of ear bone. We forget all about our boredom, the blood, and the bites when one of our cousins yells he's found a rattlesnake in the tall grass around the corner. We all run to see it, to hear it, to get close enough to tell stories about it later in the summer. One of the older boys gathers his young courage and moves toward it with a stick. He realizes before the rest of us that all it is the long, shredded skin of a rattler that has moved on, probably down the river. He picks up the discarded shell with his knobby birch stick and then throws it high into the air. We all run and scream, afraid of poisons and pain. We cannot say enough about the poisons and the pain. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dave Casario. When you memorize a poem, you're learning to walk in the shoes of that poet. But you also understand and feel their experience and what they've gone through in their life. Not only that, but when you internalize the poem, syllable by syllable, you're learning their patterns of breath. And when you speak them out loud, they come alive again in the air because of you speaking them out loud. And the poem's made even greater because now it is part of you and you are part of it. And that's not an easy thing to do under any circumstances. But now in this time of COVID-19 pandemic, it's even more remarkable that you've undertaken this task. And so thank you for doing so. And you're doing poetry as it should be done. You're reading it out loud, which is the way to do it. This first poem is by Ben Jonson. On my first son. Farewell, thou child of my right hand and joy. My sin was too much hope of thee, loved boy. 7 years thou wert lent to me, I thee did pay, exacted by thy fate on that just day. Oh, could I lose all, Father, now? For why will man lament the state he should envy, to have so soon escaped the world's and flesh's rage, and if no other misery, yet age? Rest in soft peace, and asked, say, here doth lie Ben Jonson, his best piece of poetry, for whose sake henceforth all his vows be such as what he loves he may never like too much. And this second one is by Dylan Thomas. In my craft or sullen art. In my craft or sullen art, exercised in the still night, when only the moon rages and the lovers lie abed with all their griefs in their arms, I labor by singing light, not for ambition or bread or the strut and trade of charms on the ivory stages, but for the common wages of their most secret heart. Not for the proud man apart from the raging moon I write on these spindrift pages, nor for the towering dead with their nightingales and psalms, but for the lovers, their arms round the griefs of the ages, who pay no praise or wages, no heed my craft or art. Cool.
Wedding Poem by Ross Gay for Keith and Jen. Friends, I am here to modestly report seeing in an orchard in my town a goldfinch kissing a sunflower, again and again dangling upside down by its tiny claws, snapping open like an old-timey fan its wings, again and again until, swooning, it tumbled off and swooped back to the very same perch where the sunflower curled its giant swirling of seeds around the bird and leaned back to admire the soft wind nudging the bird's plumage. And friends, I could see the points on the flower's stately crown soften and curl inward as it almost indiscernibly lifted the food of its body to the bird's nuzzling mouth, whose fervor I could hear from, 20 or 30 feet away, and see from the tiny holes that sailed from their good racket, which good racket I have to say was making me blush, and rock up on my tippy toes and just barely purse my lips with what I realized now was being simply glad. With such love, if we let it, makes us feel.
Thoughtless Cruelty by Charles Lamb. There, Robert, you have killed that fly, and should you 1,000 ages try the life you've taken to supply, you could not do it. You surely must have been devoid of thought and sense, to have destroyed a thing which no way you annoyed. You'll one day rue it. 'Twas but a fly, perhaps you'll say, that's born in April, dies in May, that does but just learn to display his wings 1 minute, and in the next is vanished quite. A bird devours it in his flight, or come a cold blast in the night, there's no breath in it. The bird but seeks his proper food, and Providence, whose power endued that fly with life, when it thinks good, may justly take it. But you have no excuse for it. A life by nature made so short, less reason is that you for sport should shorter make it. A fly, a little thing you rate, but Robert, do not estimate a creature's pain by small or great. The greatest being can have but fibers, nerves, and flesh, and these the smallest ones possess, although their frame and structure less escape our seeing.
Insomnia by Dante Gabriel Rossetti. Thin are the night skirts left behind by daybreak hours that onward creep, and thin, alas, the shred of sleep that wavers with the spirit's wind. But in half dreams that shift and roll and still remember and forget, my soul this hour has drawn your soul a little nearer yet. Our lives most dear are never near, our thoughts are never far apart, though all that draws us heart to heart seems fainter now and now more clear. Tonight love claims his full control, and with desire and with regret, my soul this hour has drawn your soul a little nearer yet. Is there a home where heavy earth melts to bright air that breathes no pain, where water leaves no thirst again, and springing fire is love's new birth? If faith, long bound to one true goal, may there at length its hope beget, my soul that hour shall draw your soul forever nearer yet.
And Soul by Yvonne Boland. My mother died one summer, the wettest in the records of the state. Crops rotted in the west, checked tablecloths dissolved in back gardens, empty deck chairs collected rain. As I took my way to her, through traffic, through lilacs dripping blackly behind houses and on curbsides, to pay her the last tribute of a daughter, I thought of something I remembered I heard once, that the body is, or is said to be, almost all water. And as I turned southward, that ours is a city of it, one in which every single day the elements begin a journey towards each other that will never, given our weather, fail. The ocean visible in the edges cut by it, cloud color reaching into air, the Liffey storing one and summoning the other, salt greeting the lack of it at the north wall, and as if that wasn't enough, all of it ending up almost every evening inside our speech. Coast, canal, ocean, river, stream, and now mother. And I drove on, and although the mind is unreliable in grief, at the next cloudburst, it almost seemed they could be shades of each other. The way the body is of every one of them. And now they were on the move again. Fog into mist, mist into sea spray, and both into the oily glaze that lay on the railings of the house she was dying in as I went inside.
Invitation to Love by Paul Laurence Dunbar. Come when the nights are bright with stars, or come when the moon is mellow. Come when the sun his golden bars drops in the hayfield yellow. Come in the twilight soft and gray, come in the night or come in the day. Come, O love, whenever you may, and you are welcome, welcome. You are sweet, O love, dear love. You are soft as the nesting dove. Come to my heart and bring it to rest as the bird flies home to its welcome nest. Come when my heart is full of grief, or come when my heart is merry. Come with the falling of the leaf, or with the reddening cherry. Come when the year's first blossom blows. Come when the summer gleams and glows. Come with the winter's drifting snows. And you are welcome, welcome.
And now for the moment you've been waiting for. In 5th place, Zoe Belinda. In 4th place, Ellis Mastel. Our 3rd place winner is Molly Tingy. Our 2nd place winner, earning a prize of $100 and $200 to purchase poetry materials for her school, is Anna Christensen. And our 2021 state champion winner of $200 and $500 for her school is Brady Drummond. Congratulations to all participants.